Well, there's also an area where songs that are not well known actually can generate a lot of revenue, and that's in the world of video games. So we move on to that. Jeff? Or
the types of video games?
Oh, yeah, I'll start quickly. The video game area is it's interesting because Jeff and I speak up at the Game Developers Conference up in San Francisco or San Jose. It alternates each year. I recommend it highly if you really want to feel old.
For those of you who are young, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you got nothing to worry about. But so you can speak on intellectual property. So all you guys are good. You can still get away with that. There, you supposedly can. It doesn't change that much. But if you go around these video game companies, and there's publishers and developers, and there's a distinction there. But you've got maybe 4 different types of games. You've got the Rock Band, the Guitar Hero type games, which are one type of license, which they'll get into. You've got the come on. I'm just drawing a blank on the most famous one. I'm sorry, Grand Theft Auto. Those type of games, Def Jam. We've got a lot of songs in there. They're on radios, they're in car stereos and stuff like that. So it's a different type of use than in Guitar Hero. You've got the movie games based on a feature film where it's almost all new music, but a lot of times they'll use the theme to it or some songs or compositions from the original movie. So that's a separate type of license and negotiation. The Godfather is a good example. They use the theme, but it's also practically all new music. Then you've got just the background scorer games. They're like films, Myst, Gods of War, Destroy All Humans is one of my most favorite. But and those, that's a whole separate type of writer. They're mainly feature film writers or who do that kind of stuff, and it's a different type of contract and negotiation. But we'll stick to the Grand Theft Auto types and the Guitar Hero Rock Band things, particularly the latter, because they're interesting, those licenses.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, for Rock Band is like, for us again representing the creator, it's such a humongous promotional tool. I mean, we don't see a lot of money. I mean, it's good ancillary income for publishing, and especially like if you own the master recording. I know that we did a whole thing with Motley Crue for Rock Band, and before our album was released, we did 47,000. We sold 47,000 units of Rock Band with our songs in there, and it was an amazing setup, and it created a lot of buzz for our Crew Fest tour that went out over the summer. But these things have really taken on a new life. I mean, they're interactive. We even did this whole thing on our tour this summer. We had Rock Band sponsored our entire tour. And the people that came, like all the attendees were able to play it. You won certain tickets backstage to do all this. So, they've really taken on a whole life of their own.
Yeah, I'll give you a feel for the type of money that we made here. And we'll deal with the Rock Band type games and the Guitar Hero type games, and then we'll get into the other type. And I'm not going to tell you which game this is. Because I signed a confidentiality clause, which I'm about to break.
Yeah, it's a Rock Band contract, right?
That kind of panel.
I'm going to go to the second one.
You went to the ethics class, right? You're okay.
Yeah, I signed in anyway. Oh, the bar's got me now. Okay.
yeah, wave to the camera, Jeff. Wave to the camera.
I'm Todd.
We're all going to be under scrutiny after this. I'm Todd, too. I can guarantee I'm a lot butcher than Todd. So.
Hilarious. Okay, getting back to royalties and more mundane matters. Take a Rock Band or a Guitar Hero. These type of games do pay royalties, which was very unusual in the game business because you had the other type of games that Todd or Dina will talk about, that were flat fee buyouts. But these types of games, since they're based on music and they revolve around music, it's just not music being played on a radio station, if you turn it on in a particular game, etc. There are royalties and there are advances. The royalties range anywhere from 1.3 cents at the low end to about 4 cents, and it can be a little bit higher. But you might say that, well, it doesn't sound like an awful lot of money. It's not on a per unit basis, but remember there are lots of songs in these games also. But there is almost always an advance on 1 million units in many of these games. So if you're looking at a game that pays 4 cents a unit, you're getting a check right away for $40,000, just for the song. And the other great thing about, and there's another type of formula where It depends on the number of units sold. It might start off at 1.3 or 1 cent per unit up to 500,000 units, go up to 1.3 cents per unit from 5,001 to 1,000,000 units. Anything over 1,000,000 is 1.5 cents. So there's an escalating royalty in there. Some of the good things about these deals is that you can make money even though your song's not in the game initially. Because most of these games now, you can at least, download additional songs into the game. And there's a whole provision in all of these deals for the songs that are not in the initial version of the game, but the ones that are downloaded, by the game player. And normally it runs in the area of 15% of the retail price of the composition. I'll give you a quick example because they actually say it in this proposal. The tracks, there are types of retail prices. It could be anywhere from 99 cents to $2.99 per track. If on an individual download, you just times that by 15 cents. That's a decent amount of money, and so you're getting actually more money by being downloaded into the game sometimes by being in the game itself. Then there are packs, let's say $9.99 for 6 tracks, $19.99 for a 10 plus track album. Those would be pro rata, 15% pro rata with all the songs in the little bundle. So, but as you can see, it can be an enormous amount of income. I mean, we've had games that have, chosen, let's say 5, 6, 7, 10, Chrysalis compositions. You times that by $40,000 in advances for each particular song. That's $400,000 coming in just from one video game alone. Then plus you've got the royalties, subsequent to them earning out $1 million. And I guarantee you, these games, all of them, at least the big ones, earn out over 1,000,000 units. Could be 2 million, could be higher than that. And the good thing also, the licenses are fairly short term. They're not life of copyright licenses. They're usually anywhere from 4 years to 10-year licenses because they really feel that's the life of the video game. 10 years is so far out that no one's going to be playing this game. Maybe after 2 or 3 years. So, but they're short-term licenses. But it is very, very substantial money if you have the right type of songs. Like Guitar Hero, obviously, you've got to have great guitar licks, great songs. But there are drum songs. There's a whole, every song, there might even be a clarinet, Guitar Hero in some respects. So all the good clarinet players might make some money finally. But it's a really great area, other than playing Rhapsody in Blue.
But some of those games, like the Grand Theft Auto game, I mean, these games, they pay, I feel like they really don't pay a lot. I mean, they pay flat fees. Like EA, Electronic Arts, they're the worst. I mean, they'll come to you, they'll clear 70 songs for a game to see what they can get, and then they end up putting 15 songs in their game. Yeah. And these fees are still, I think, fairly low. It's like $5,000 per side, right?
Yeah. There are certain games, and I'm not going to get into what's fair or not fair. I'll let Dina do that.
Jeff still likes Electronic Arts.
Yeah. But there are certain games. The $5,000 figure was a fee for one particular game that did license hundreds of compositions and hundreds of masters. If you didn't accept the $5,000 fee, you were not going to get into that game. That was made very clear. And there were a lot of publishers and songwriters says, no, that's too little. And others said, yeah, that's fine. So, there are certain games like that will just charge total buyouts. The game could sell 50,000 units, could sell 50 million units.
50 million, yes, some of these games.
Yeah.
500 million.
Hey, but the good thing for publishers, the Grand Theft Auto, Gran Turismo, those type of games, they're great because they're genre stations. So you look at a Latin station on the Grand Theft Auto game, and you've got like Tito Puente, you've got all this old stuff. So for older copyrights, it's an interesting way to get into a video game. So you don't give up if you're working for an old line publisher on it. And my final comment on Grand Theft Auto really is, I mean, if you think about it, if anybody's played the game or know what the game's about, I mean, you're lucky you're getting paid at all. I mean, they can just kill you and take your song. So,